Welcome to the Power Paragliding Show. I'm Michael Purdy here with Paul Anthem and Jeff Going. And interesting subject, maintenance warning signs. And Paul's got some good thoughts on that. It's going to get this moving, and I think Jeff and I both have some things to contribute as well. So, Paul, welcome.
Well, hi, guys. Yeah, I just the other day I thought this would be a good subject because there were some maintenance warning signs that I ignored to my peril because I probably could end up replacing the cylinder head if I hadn't actually caught it. So I just imagine there's a lot of pilots out there that where something sounds different, something's acting different on their paramotor, the wing's acting different, the motor's acting different, a noise, a rattle, a hum, something.
Right.
And you just say, well, I'll check it out later. And that's probably not a good idea. If you sensed it, you should probably act on it.
Yeah, it can be vibration, it can be noise. I mean, Jeff, you're the mega pilot amongst us. I mean, that's pretty much a rule of everything that flies, isn't it?
If something sounds different, it's about to get expensive.
Yeah, or dangerous. Or dangerous.
Or dangerous. I have my own brief story. Just, I don't know, last week I was out there and I heard a strange sound. And we can talk about pre-flight. That's a whole nother topic. But I heard a strange sound, and I thought, okay, I can make it back to the field. And the strange sound quickly got really loud with lots of vibration. I thought, no, better not. It was still producing thrust. No, better not push this one. So I killed it. Had I kept going, I probably would have done my cage and netting. As it was, the muffler, which had cracked and was now separating from the machine and going its own way, did enough damage.
Right.
Jeff, I'm very glad that you came up with that because that was really the gist of what I wanted to get at is that it has to be realized and taken care of right away. For instance, once I went up for a flight in my early years, just a few years ago, and just after 2 or 3 minutes of flight, suddenly I felt the power drop. Well, I went ahead and killed the engine, and luckily I was by the LZ, killed the engine, glided back down, and then discovered that half of my prop bolts were sticking out.
Did you forget something, Paul?
I was new. I didn't know I didn't know how often I was supposed to check your prop bolts.
What a moron!
Yeah, exactly. One or two of them would have been. If I would have had that engine running 1 second longer, I swear to God, 1 second, the prop bolts would have been flying out. It would have been major damage.
Let me fess up, Paul.
So basically,
before he calls you a moron, I waited that 1 extra second one time.
Oh.
Yes.
You know what, though? I'll tell you the one good thing about that, though, is that's the only bolt that you can lose that doesn't go through the prop to break it.
Yeah, but believe me, the prop will not fare well.
Yeah.
The prop would come off. Yeah. And there was another instance in Salton Sea where I was on the ground and someone was flying, hundreds of yards away, and I heard that a pitch change in their engine, and I just knew it wasn't right. So I look up, and I'm thinking, kill the engine, and he didn't. So about 3 or 4 seconds went by, and he was at full power, like he was trying to compensate for some loss in power. And sure enough, after about 4 seconds, the propeller exploded. So something came loose, something went through the prop, the propeller exploded, part of it went through his wing, and of course he landed anyway. So there have been several occasions, I'm sure, with me and with you guys, where killing the engine right away, as soon as you hear something different, is beneficial.
Yeah, you can be, or feeling vibration, you hear a little sound, lose a little power, a lot of stuff, and you don't, I don't know, sometimes you kind of hear things, and, usually I fly with music, so I'm not sure how good that is, but...
Yeah, that's a whole nother episode too. I can tell you stories about that.
I mean, for me, it's if the music clicks, that's an emergency landing right there.
And it's not just in the air. It's not just in the air. when I detected some, I had to adjust my carburetor a little bit, and that should have been a warning sign right there. That, hey, well, I think I need to give this a little more gas. It's acting differently. I should have known something was wrong there, but I went ahead and flew for a few times. And then I saw a few drips of oil coming out of the cylinder head, or on the fins. And I thought, oh, it's probably from the decompressor. Right. So I flew a few more times. Well, I should have investigated that further. Luckily, I got lucky, and finally one day when I was waiting for the wind to die down, I thought, well, let me get this really close look. And then I went ahead and took my cooling shroud off, checked the cylinder head nuts, and they were all loose.
Right.
It was leaking because I had tightened down my cylinder head nuts since the last time I had done some maintenance.
Just a couple days ago, Tim and I were flying just north of here, and Tim, I went to let him use my motor, and he went to pull start it. It started up and was making a funny noise. He called me over, hey, Jeff, listen to that. Is that all right? It's like, no. And this is a top 80. I love the top 80, but the starter system, well, she's not everything you'd like it to be. And sure enough, one of the starter pawls had come around its connection, and had he gone up to power with that, it would have destroyed the whole thing. $160 blower fan, another $50 worth of miscellaneous little parts, and several hours worth of labor probably. So it's better to catch them early.
Right, and it's so common. It's the old joke about how do you know your engine's about to quit?
Because it's running.
Because it's running, exactly. I mean, I'm right up front with people about that, my students, and I just tell them, the most important thing is to have a place to land. And so it is really, really common. So it's not just theoretical here. I think all these points are well taken.
And the second most important thing is to have a good set of tools.
Yep. Right. Yeah, well, just doing the obvious, if you're going to do a pre-flight, you can't just go wiggle and shake things. You gotta tighten here and there and check.
But let's face it, 90% of our pre-flights are wiggling and shaking, and they can catch.
Right.
I mean, I did.
Well, maybe it's not. Go ahead.
I did a pre-flight, and I found a crack, and I thought, wrongly so, that, well, yeah, I need to replace that, but I think I'm good for a couple more flights. Well, that wasn't a good idea.
And we're always going to miss. We're human. We're going to miss things. There's going to be things in areas that we can't see.
Right.
And that was kind of my point, is that when you do sense something different or wrong with the wing,
yep.
Act on it. And a lot of times acting on that could be, if you want to save equipment damage, could be shutting off your motor right away, which should not be a problem.
Because you always have a place to land.
If you always have a place to land every second that you're flying.
Right. Well, the other thing is that, tightening things is not a pre-flight. That is a different subject, but it is equally important, and it's a subject for another segment. But you really do on these things. You have to tighten and check. And, some come loose more often than others, but they all come loose.
Yeah, the only bulletproof paramotor is one that's being fired at with a gun.
All right, Paul. We're really actually that's about it we're about out of time on that. So, okay, you're listening to the Powered Paragliding Show. I'm Michael Purdy with Paul Anthem and Jeff Going.